Welcome back. You're watching Storyboard. Now, if you like your political and media commentary cutting, irreverent and sharp, you would know about News Laundry. This media watchdog website has created quite a buzz in the online community in the 1.5 years it's been around with its brand of satire, interviews and general irreverence. But how does an ad-free, idealistic entity like News Laundry sustain the momentum? What is the business model? Storyboard's Pavni Mittal caught up with one of the founding members, veteran journalist Madhu Trehan, to find out more.
Madhu Trehan, founder News Laundry, veteran journalist and really a pioneer in this industry. Thank you so much for joining me on Storyboard.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, why did you choose to go digital?
We had planned one program which we wanted to do, a television program to critique the news. But as we went along, during the discussions and making the pilot, the Radia tapes exploded. And that was when we realized that we really wouldn't have the kind of freedom that we needed to do what we wanted to do, because it was the modus and the content of what we believed in that required that freedom. Otherwise, there was no point. So there was no point in us doing just another program. I'm not interested in doing one more thing that somebody else has done, claiming that it's slightly better. In that case, when somebody says that we're doing the same thing slightly better, the only people who notice that is your mother and yourself. So no, the idea of doing it on the internet, one, was to have the freedom to be able to do what we want to do.
What is your business model and why have you not gone for the traditional advertiser-funded revenue model?
It's of course a conscious decision. In fact, funnily enough, there are companies who've approached us to put their ads in, which I think is a little unusual. We were also very surprised. For example, in Clothesline, there's a coffee company who asked whether I could put their coffee cup on the table.
Product placement kind of stuff.
Actually, regretfully, heartbrokenly turned it down because we have a very clear idea that our idealism of what we want to do should guide how we conduct the business model as well. And for us, News Laundry is not a product. It is really an engagement with the readers and the viewers. So just as we read our feedback, we actually read our feedback, we do answer comments and questions. For us, the viewers and the readers are really our guiding force. Their engagement with us in terms of content as well as our revenue model is what is going to guide us to evolve. So as you see on our website, we've asked questions on would you pay this?
Pay for content.
Yes. So it doesn't mean that we're going that way. We're testing the ground.
Okay.
This space, I think, is new for everybody all over the world, and there are international websites who have failed miserably.
Yes.
And there are similar websites who are hugely successful. We feel very seriously that the way our readers and viewers engage with us and tell us, okay, this is the way for you to go, and we will support you in this direction, or we are unwilling to support you in another direction. I think that is the direction in which we will evolve. So much the same, it is definitely not a print. I think the mistake is to take a print model, subscription based,
and just
copy it on the net. I think that is a really poor assessment of what News Laundry is, or a poor assessment of what the space is. Because if you put it, just plant it like that, when it isn't like that, there is nothing.
Because the consumption is not like that.
Not at all, because when a person reads something and it makes them angry or upset or makes them laugh, they will respond to you. So that engagement is the key thing, which is non-existent in television programs and print.
And what about the pay for content? Because when I looked at the votes, the highest number of votes were for the cheapest option, and the second highest number of votes were for I will not pay for content.
The large percentage of the readers and viewers have voted for payment.
Yes.
Even if they're paying 1 rupee, that means that we've got them engaged and they're willing to pay 1 rupee. Now today's print newspaper reader is not really paying for the content.
It's not, he's not.
The advertising and marketing is what makes print successful, or if it's successful.
Yeah.
They rely totally on advertising, and what the reader pays is just a nominal amount. Our numbers are not restrictive, whereas print is.
Yeah.
So it's just another business, you should say. One shouldn't even look at print, but the majority of the votes were that they are willing to pay. We don't care how low it is. As long as the people get it in their head that we are willing to pay, that's enough for us.
Will you implement that soon? I mean, will you start?
In some form.
Okay.
In some form we will, but it has to be still evolving in the sense that we have to figure out the amount, we have to figure out different packages, we have to figure out the kind of people who are willing to pay more, what we can give them and what we can offer them. It should be far more substantial. So, you know, there's an iPad version which can include long form, it can include far more videos. It's a very different way of doing it. But I think the mistake that people have made in the past is to just simply, in fact, somebody as savvy as Rupert Murdoch made that mistake and had to close that internet paper down because he was replicating what he had in print and expected them to pay exactly the same amount. It can't work that way. It really can't. And the point is that it is a natural force multiplier. As you know, how people forward and tweet and put it on Facebook for us. We don't pay them to do it.
Yeah.
But we've been around now for a year and a half. We have done no offline advertising, but purely from Twitter and Facebook and word of mouth and people forwarding our programs and articles, we have more than quadrupled in numbers in terms of, you know, from starting from zero to the kind of hits we get every day.
There's a lot of video content that you are doing. The cost of content is really going up because, you know, there's salaries and then, you know, there's infrastructure. What is the immediate business model to at least recover some of that cost or make money?
See, we have many ideas cooking. First of all, our cost of production is nothing even close to yours.
Of course, I know that.
Okay. And it functions pretty well. So that is one thing. Secondly, there are many other products that we're planning, you know, offline activities. Just like, say, for example, print evolved many different things led by Times of India in their equity,
MediaNet,
bartering equity and all that kind of thing. They were experimenting in their own thing, and the difference is that their ideology was to make money.
Yeah.
Our ideology is to believe in what we are doing, which is journalism, critiquing journalism, putting forth good journalism, engaging with our readers and viewers who respond to that journalism, and evolving products, keeping that ideology in mind, keeping that idealism for putting something that other people believe in as much as we do.
What do you hope to achieve with News Laundry, and have you achieved any of the goals that you had set for yourself when you started a year and a half ago?
I think we've achieved more than what we planned.
Okay.
For example, clothes line was almost an impulsive product that happened.
I think it's your best product.
Thank you. It wasn't planned, say, in a way that a channel puts it together, that they'll do a pilot, expensive sets, send it around, like get responses, what works, what doesn't work. It was really done extremely impulsively, and we packaged it in a way that we've responded to viewers and evolved through that. And then other programs have also, as you know, I Agree, which is also hugely successful. The phrases have become, I mean, you go to a dinner.
Can you take it? I agree.
Yeah. They've become popular. People use them. So in that sense, I think that we have achieved more than what we expected, definitely. The hits, the responses, the sort of belief in, as you see on Twitter, you must have seen, the belief in what we produce gives us a lot of strength, and I think that that's what it is. Yes, we've achieved what we wanted and more, and which means that it doesn't mean that we're stopping. We have big plans.
Thank you so much for joining me. All the best.
Thank you.
Time for another break on Storyboard. Coming up ahead, HUL takes on Colgate-Palmolive, and this time it's no holds barred. That's up in a bit.